Hello everybody, how are you doing tonight? Just got home from work a little while ago and ran out and fixed our doorbell. My wife told me that the doorbell wasn't working any longer. You might remember I put in a Westminster chime a while back. So I grabbed my meter and I went up on top of the loft up there is the transformer. And I hit the two terminals on the transformer and had juice. Both on the inside, I had 110 volts or 120 volts on the inside, and I had, I think, 12 volts or 14, somewhere between 12 and 14 on the outbound side. So I knew I was getting power and putting power out. So I ran out to the front door and I removed the doorbell off the wall. And of course, the little light was not on in there. And as I was looking at the doorbell, I moved it and the light kicked on. So I kind of jiggled one of the wires and turned out it was loose. Evidently, I don't know if I did not tighten them all the way or with the cold and hot spells we've been getting, it just, worked its way loose. I don't know. So I cranked them down with the screwdrivers, hit the button, boom, doorbell's working again. So everybody's happy. So my wife doesn't know yet. She's not home from work. So I'll wait till she gets home and then I'll go around front and ring the doorbell. That's one way to let her know, huh? But I'm out in the garage. I'm going to goof off a little bit. I'm going to show you guys something. I was working on this blank. I'm going to get it out of the clamps. I showed it to you the other day. Oh, sorry about that. I got to watch my lighting now. It's the checkerboard blank, and I just have to glue the two pieces together. I'm really happy with it, but one thing that makes me nervous is it's gotten really small. And I'm worried that with it being that small, it'll be difficult to drill and to turn. So what I'm going to do is here we go. There's a normal size blank right here, and I've got a large piece of maple, and I've got a large piece of mahogany. And I'm going to cut a couple of strips off, and I'm going to start with a larger chunk of wood. They were about 3/4 of an inch the first time around. So I'm going to start with a larger chunk of wood, and I'm going to work myself up to the point I'm at, up to this point, and then I'm going to pick back up at the video and explain this and continue on with the blank. I may still try to turn that thin one. I don't see any reason not to, but I want to have a little buffer just in case it doesn't work, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. Just kind of goof off a little bit till my wife gets home and see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. Got my blanking glue up. What I ended up doing, you can see it's still got the edges there where it broke apart. It didn't line up really nice, so I took it over to my table saw and I used one of my sleds and I just basically ran it through the blade and just cleaned up the opposite end and then found the nice fit and glued it together. I'm going to give that one a try. Before I go any farther, I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. I think if I can drill it down the center, I can turn it into a slimline pin without a whole lot of trouble. I was hoping to make a larger pin, something with maybe an 8mm or a 3/8 inch tube, maybe a Stratus or something like that. But it was an oversight with me starting with a 3/4 inch blank. I think a 1 inch blank would have been ideal, and that's where I'll start in the future. So I'm going to hold off on making a second blank for the time being. What I'm going to do is shift gears, and I've got this blank, the denim and colored pencil blank, and I'm going to turn it. Let's see if we can make a pin tonight. I want you guys to know that I'm going to turn this into a modified slimline. I've got the top tube glued in. Instead of using activator, I'm going to let it dry at a normal pace. The wood glue's drying on that one. I probably will wait till tomorrow or the night after to turn that one. What I'm going to do is take a little break. I wanted to work on these and finish the filming, but my neighbor just got home from wherever he's been. He pulled suitcases out of his trunk, and as you can hear in the background, the first thing he did, he walked in the house, put on his old clothes, and fired up his mower. And I don't want to try to record with the sound of that darn lawnmower going in the background. So I'm going to put off the recording. And what I'm going to work on is I bought some letters for our mailbox, our house number. I'm going to go ahead and just go out and get those glued to the mailbox post. My wife's been wanting to have that done for a while, and it makes it easier for people to find us. It's kind of funny, we have plaques on our houses that have our house numbers, but the UPS guy and the mail guy, for some reason, they just have trouble finding the houses. I don't know why they have trouble, because there's a large, probably, I don't know, 8x11 plaque on the house. So anyway, I'm going to put these on the post. as you're, so that way as you're coming around the corner, you can see my numbers in big gold letters right down the front of my mailbox. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully he'll be done with the mowing by the time I get done, and maybe this evening I'll go ahead and finish turning that blank. I'm going to keep you guys posted on what happens. Well, I got the numbers on the mailbox. They look really nice. Julie came home and she liked them. She was glad to see them. Now the delivery people will be able to find us, and friends who are looking for our house will be able to more easily find the house number. I also showed her the doorbell. She was pretty happy about that. I got this blank. It's dry. I don't think it's dry enough to drill. I'm going to let it sit overnight and finish it tomorrow, only because the glue's been drying for about an hour, but I really want to give it time to really dry, and I'm just about done for the night. I got this other blank over here. It's on the lathe. It's going to be a modified slimline. I've got the back tube glued in. The front tube now, I did a little something different. Normally, I just slide the front tube in and barrel trim it to the tube. What I did is I took a longer tube and I cut it to the length of a normal tube plus 1/4 of an inch, which is the length of the trim ring. And what will happen is when I press the front half of the pin in here, there'll be a little gap in the middle, okay, which would normally be taken up by the trim ring, so that the front mechanism will not seat so tightly or so deeply into the back mechanism. It'd be easier to remove. I noticed that a while back and realized that we were having trouble pulling the mechanism out to change the ink, and that was the issue. So this is ready to go. It's on the lathe. My tools are sharpened. I got the dust collector brought up. It's all connected. Everything's ready to go, and all I need to do is turn it on and turn. I think that's going to be tomorrow night after work. I was just out kind of goofing around. It's about time to go in and have a little dinner. So I think I'm just going to call it quits tonight. I set myself up to do these 2 pins tomorrow, and I'll come out, I'll cut the one, I'll drill it, and then I'll put the tubes in, and while it's drying, I'll turn the other. And then when I'm finished, I'll have to be able to turn that one. So hopefully tomorrow night, I'll have 2 pins ready to roll. Hello, everybody. I started working on the blanks the other night, and lo and behold, my shop vac laid down on me. Motor it smelled like it burned up. I've been using that one for 18 years, so I got my money's worth out of it, and I'm just now leaving the big box store, picking up a new one, so that I have an opportunity to maybe finish up. I have 2 blanks ready to be turned. One of them's turned, needs to be sanded. I have another one ready to be turned, and with this shop vac, I should be able to do that this weekend. So I'm hoping to get another pen video out, at least one, sometime over the weekend. I know this video is a culmination of a couple of different days, because nothing really happened in enough quantity to make it worth doing a video any of these 3 days. So hopefully tonight I'll get something turned. I'll be able to show you, and then we'll be able to close this video out and get it out to you guys. Well, I thought when I got home I would put my vacuum together and maybe get back to sanding and turning a couple of blanks, but it's supposed to start raining here and rain for the next couple of days, and my grass is in need of being cut. So work before play, unfortunately. So I got to get my grass cut, and then hopefully we'll have time to get back into the shop right after that. My grass is finally cut. I was moving pretty quick because sky's getting dark. I don't think I got much time till the rain gets here. My wife just pulled in and brought me a box, and Don Peters sent me a block of Duralin to attempt to turn. So I'm going to figure out what I want to do with this pen wise, and we'll see if we can't get a pen out of this, and we'll record that for you guys and let you know. I was going to start working on sanding a pen. I need to assemble my shop vac, but I'm really hungry, so I'm going to go get a pizza first. Guy's got to have his priorities. When I get back from the pizza and I get done eating, if I don't just pass out because I'm exhausted from running through that yard, I'm going to try to get my shop vac assembled, and once it's assembled, I'll hook it up to the lathe and I'll start turning. Hey, let me show you the pen that I've got ready to sand. This is one I'm calling my back to school blank because it's got denim in it as well as colored pencils. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by flipping it over, and we'll start sanding at the 150 grit, I believe, is where I start with my sandpaper. And we'll get this sanded down, looking really nice. It's going to be a modified slimline ink pen, so really looking forward to getting it finished. I think it looks pretty cool with the 2 different mediums in it. So I really hope to get that sanded and get a finish on it tonight and get the kit put together. That's my goal. Like I said, pizza first, shop vac second, finish the pin third. So let's see if we make it through all of those steps. I'll keep you guys posted. I went to pull my blank off of the lathe. I was going to go ahead and flip it and lay my sandpaper out so I'd be ready to go when I got done. And evidently there must have been a little bit of glue left in the tube, and turning it must have heated it up. And this particular tube is actually glued to my mandrel. I'm going to try a pair of pliers, just kind of gripping it and seeing if I can spin it off. If not, I'll get the Dremel and I'll cut it and peel it off. The pizza's been eaten. Item 1 is crossed off the list. Next up, let's assemble that shop vac. I do want to give you an update. I used my Dremel tool and I cut that or scored that brass tube, and then I was able to take a pair of channel locks, get a hold of it, and it finally came off the mandrel. There's only one issue, and that is I'm now going to have to put a new tube in the back of that pin, which means the pin's not probably going to get sanded tonight. I want to let that dry. So we're going to move the sanding of the blank until tomorrow, but we are going to get the shop vac set up and ready to rock so that when I come out tomorrow, slide it on the mandrel and sand it. Got the new shop vac set up, and it's hooked to the lathe, or it's hooked to the dust deputy, then to the lathe, and I'm real happy with it. Let me show it to you real quick. It's a shop vac brand. It's 6 horsepower and has a 10-gallon stainless steel tank. My old vac, which is back here, actually had a 16-gallon tank and was 5 horsepower. This one's quite a bit quieter too. Let me fire it up. Not sure how that sounds on the video, but it's probably only about 2/3 of the noise that the other vacuum made. I can hear it at the other end of the lathe there where the little Rockler dust collector opening is. You can hear the air just, pulling through there, and you can put your hand in front of it and really feel the pressure. I went ahead, I had a chance to go for a larger capacity tank, and I decided against it. And the reason why I decided against it is because I'm not using the tank for debris any longer. This 20-gallon cardboard cylinder with the dust deputy, so everything gets sucked into here, spins around and drops into there, and I empty the chips, etc. out of here. All that's going into the shop vac would be any dust that manages to, not get dropped into the barrel and gets pulled into the vac. Inside that vac, right now it came with a general purpose filter. They sell a high efficiency filter that's supposed to be used for drywall dust and, sawdust, things like that. I haven't got that installed yet. I'm going to have to pick one of those up. But I did install a high efficiency filter bag. So the air goes into the filter bag first, which I'm hoping will trap a majority of the dust. Then as it filters through the bag, it goes through the filter of the vacuum and then out the exhaust port. So hopefully that will help, but my plan is to pick up, they just didn't have any in stock, but to pick up a high efficiency dust filter just for around the shop, because I still plan to use this even once I get the dust collector in my shop fired up. I'll still use this for small jobs. It's just so convenient, hooking it up to the scroll saw where you've only got like a 3/4 of an inch, pipe to suck your dust away. You don't want to hook something that's got a 6-inch pipe. It's maybe a little overkill. So, but I'm pretty excited about it. But that's it for me for tonight. I'm going to goof around a little bit out here, but really I'm just waiting for, my wife went to pick my son up at practice. I'm waiting for her to get home, and I'm just going to grab a shower and take it easy the rest of the night. I've got my blank glued up over here. Here it is. The new tube is glued in. That's the loose tube there. I just had it where I could put some weight on it and hold it so it would not fall off the counter, and I didn't want the glue part on the counter in case any glue dripped out, but it looks really pretty good. I got a nice fit. I know you can't really see it, but a nice fit right up to the end of the tube. You can see a little glue. The darker color is glue, but I got a tip for you guys, and that is this pencil has all of these colored pencils in it. Anytime you're using light wood or soft wood, and you have like a light wood next to a dark wood, say a Paduke and a maple, and you're sanding, that Paduke will bleed into that maple. what you can do is right before you start sanding, put 1 coat of thin CA on your blank. So I'm not worried about the little overlap of CA on there, because as soon as I put it back on the lathe, I'm going to drop a coat of CA on it, thin CA, and that's like a sanding sealer. And what that'll do is it'll let me sand, but it will keep the colors from the pencil, or it should keep the colored pencil parts from staining the blank. Same thing would be if you had the Paduke next to walnut. It would keep that orangey Paduke color from staining your maple blank. So we're going to test that out tomorrow and see how that works. I'm pretty excited about that tip. Beyond that, I think I'm done for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and shut the shop down, and that's pretty much it for me. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me. Sorry about the multi-day video thing, but you know, it kind of is what it is, unfortunately. It just wasn't meant to be. All right, tomorrow, though, I should have some updates for you. It's supposed to rain all day, so there's nothing I can do outside. I'm planning on being in the shop. We're going to get this pin turned. I've got another pin that's ready to be drilled and turned, and I've got a list of a few more pins that I want to get started on. So I don't know what or how much I'll get done tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to a fun day, a lot of updates, and a few videos. Take care, guys. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.